Today I've got a really special recipe. I'm going to be doing a sweet tea brined and smoked chicken. Now I've been working on this brine recipe for a little while and I think I finally got it nailed down. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. Plus on top of that, I'm going to be using a cooker that I haven't used here on the channel in the past. It's been here for a long time, but I haven't used it a lot. So excited to get that going. So let's get started. The chicken that I'll be using are these beautiful chicken leg quarters, but you can honestly use any cut that you like. The great thing about the leg quarters is it's all dark meat, right? It's the thigh and the drumstick. They take really well to brining and really good to smoking. So let me move this off to the side. Let's get started on the sweet tea brine. For this recipe, the measurements are all for 1 gallon of water. So this is a 4-quart pot, and I've got it filled up about halfway with water. Now the best way when you do brines is you want to make sure that all the ingredients, the salts, the sugars, it all dissolves. So I like to start with half the amount of water that's needed, and now we're just going to add everything to this mix. So I've got 1 cup of brown sugar. Next, I have a half a cup of kosher salt. So this right here is really the base of any brine, is salt and sugar. So what happens is when the salt and the sugars dissolve, when we put our chicken in, this is what's going to allow all these flavors to penetrate into the meat. So we've got that. Next, I've got about a tablespoon of whole peppercorns, about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. So this will do a couple things. This will add a little bit more of the saltiness to the brine, plus that delicious umami flavor that will really elevate the flavor of this chicken. All right, next I've got a whole lemon. This one's looking kind of funky, but it'll still work. So all I'm gonna do is just cut this guy in half and we'll squeeze the juice right in the brine. Doesn't matter if the seeds go in, just get that all in there. And the lemon carcass as well. So it all goes in. Next, I've got about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, and these are super easy to kind of prepare. Just kind of hit it with your hand so it kind of cracks a little bit and just drop the whole thing in the brine. See, it starts releasing those oils, all that delicious garlic flavor, the peels, it all goes in. And again, just like with any other recipe that we do here on the channel, feel free to adjust these ratios or ingredients to whatever flavor profile you like. Start with this one first and see how you like this, and then you can adjust as you go. And finally, the last ingredient is our tea. So I'm using these Earl Grey black teas and English breakfast tea. I was all out of the regular Lipton tea. It really doesn't matter what tea you use, just stay away from any of the flavored ones. Just use a plain basic tea. And for 1 gallon of water, I like to go with 6 tea bags. Now that my tea bags have been removed, I like to tie them all together. It just makes it easier to handle and keeps all the strings kind of in place. There we go. Just like that. Now before I put the tea bags in, I'm going to bring this inside. I'm going to bring this up to a boil. That will do 2 things. One, it'll help dissolve the sugars, the salts, and then it'll get the water hot enough to steep the tea. So let's go inside and finish off this brine. All right, water is boiling, so what I'm going to do is turn off the gas, give it another stir, right? You want to make sure, again, that all the salt, all that sugar, all that is fully dissolved, which is why I like bringing this up to a boil. And now I'm going to put in my tea bags right in just like so, and I'm going to let this steep for about 5 minutes and just let those tea bags hang out in there. My brine is almost ready. I took the tea bags out because we don't need those anymore. Now I'm just going to pour this whole thing into this larger container. Ooh. With the lemons, the garlic, all these goodies. Now this is way too hot to put your chicken inside. So the next step, anytime you're doing a brine, this recipe or anything else, you have to cool this down to 40 degrees or below. So your chicken is not actually going to start cooking or going bad. So I've got a whole thing of ice. Give this a mix. All right, so I was a little bit short on the 1 gallon, and you can see there's a marker, a 4-quart marker on my container. So this, again, this brine recipe calls for 1 gallon of water. So you want to make sure you're as close to 1 gallon as possible. So it's not going to come out too salty. So I'm just going to add some more ice water to get to the 4-quart mark. And that right there, my friends, is looking pretty good. Next, let's put the chickens inside. So here's my chicken leg quarters. Like I said, I like using these a lot because it's all dark meat. They take really well to brining. They're super easy to cook, much harder to overcook and dry out. They're just kind of cool, right? Depending where you buy these from, if there's some extra skin or a lot of flabby skin, you can trim that off. These look pretty good. You know, a little bit extra skin or fat is fine, but if it's too much, I like to trim that off. And these guys are just going right into my brine, and you just want to be sure they are all submerged. Push those guys in. Now this is going to go in the fridge for at least an hour or two, right? Again, the longer that it sits, the more flavorful it's going to get and the more of that brine it's going to absorb. If you can do it overnight, do it overnight. And if you're pressed for time, an hour or two should be good enough. All right, chicken is in the fridge, brining away. So now let's go fire up the smoker. And it's not any one of these. That one's in the back. So let me show you guys what I will be cooking with today. There's a cool story with the smoker too. I picked this thing up in Texas like 5-6 years ago. I think it was right before COVID. It's an awesome cooker. It just takes a lot of time to kind of get it going, tend the fire. So that's why I don't use it that often, but here she is. This is the 48-inch Pits and Spits Jess Pryles Edition offset smoker. And if you're not familiar with these types of cookers, it's called an offset smoker because the firebox is on the side of the cooking chamber, right? So this is where you cook and this is where you start the fire. And the way that it works is you fire up wood, charcoal, whatever you want to cook with in this here firebox, and then the smoke and heat travels inside the chamber and out the stack on this side. So let me show you here what the inside looks like. So this one has 2 grates. You can pull them out. Let's get this thing fired up. Let me show you how I like to do it. Follow me to my charcoal stash. Here you go. Not sure if you can see all that. So we've got plenty of Kingsford, which is my go-to when it comes to starting up the offset, especially for this cook, because the chicken I like to cook at a higher temperature. I'm gonna put this whole bag of Kingsford right in the firebox. All right, and this whole bag goes right in to start it up. I like using this propane torch. So this actually, I think this is made for like burning off weeds on your sidewalk or your driveway, but it also works really well for starting your grill or your charcoal. It just connects right to this propane tank. And I'll turn the gas on. See, can you see? So now I'm just gonna get this charcoal started up. All right, I got the charcoal mostly lit, so it's about halfway kind of ashed over, and I'm gonna leave this like this and let it burn for about 30 to 45 minutes. Now, the most important thing that I learned, at least when it comes to cooking on an offset smoker, is that you need a good solid bed of coals when you put your logs on so they ignite and they don't smolder. About 30 to 45 minutes. Once these are super hot, nicely ashed over, then I'm gonna start adding my wood, stabilize the temperature, and then we can put the chicken on. Charcoal is good to go, so now it's time to start adding in my wood. And I get these from Cutting Edge Firewood. You can order these online, these splits, and they are very well seasoned, meaning they're super dry. They burn nice and clean. I tried ordering wood locally here, you know, so I didn't have to get it delivered or shipped. And it just wasn't really, the quality wasn't there. Like it was kind of wet, wasn't really well seasoned. These, however, work really, really well. This is cruising right now at about 175, and I want this between 275 and 300 for my chicken. So let's put 2 of these splits right on the charcoal. Let's open this guy up so you can see inside. They are all ashed over, looking nice and pretty. So I'm gonna add 2 splits right there. And I will give this another maybe 20 minutes or so, and then our smoker will be good to go. In the meantime, I think it's good to take the chicken out. Let's prep that, and then we'll throw it on. Here, let me show you. See, so I put the logs right there on the charcoal, and they are already on fire, already kind of burning. So that's what seasoned wood means, that it's super dry, there's no moisture inside, so it burns nice and clean. All right, next up, let's prep the chicken from the brine. So this was sitting in here for about 2.5 hours, so not super long, but long enough where it'll still get that good flavor and all the benefits from the brine. Wash off or rinse off any of those peppercorns, anything else that might be stuck to it. Make sure that excess liquid drips down, and this is going on this sheet tray lined with a paper towel. And what I want to do is just make sure that these are dry on both sides, right? We want to get them super dry. The main purpose of getting these dry is to make sure that that skin gets nice and crispy, or that good bite through texture. If it stays wet, it'll just prevent that from happening. So you can smell the tea, the lemon, the garlic. This is such a good brine for poultry. I'm just gonna pat dry them on the other side. They already got that color from the tea. They got a little bit darker. And for the seasoning, I'm gonna prep these guys 2 different ways. For 2 of them, I'm gonna use my sweet barbecue rub. These, by the way, are now available nationwide at Ace Hardware. You can check the Ace Hardware website to see if they're in your stores. And if you're in the Chicagoland area, they are available at all 43 Mariano's locations, which is pretty amazing. So we're gonna go with a nice coating of the rub. Whatever seasoning you use on these, because these have been brining in that salt and soy mixture, you don't want to use anything that's too salty. We'll repeat on this one. And for these 3, I'm going to go with more of a traditional Texas style barbecue. So I'm only going to use salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and not a lot of salt, just a little bit of salt on the outside. And then this 16 mesh coarse ground black pepper. Just a little bit of that. And finally, some granulated garlic. Super simple, super classic. Whoops, it's a lot of garlic. Should probably use a smaller container, but that's okay. All right, let's get these chicken leg quarters on the smoker. They are looking pretty fabulous. Pit is nice and hot, so it is, yeah, right at 275. We're getting a nice clean smoke, so that means that this thing is ready to go. Let me just get my other glove. One thing to note, I am far from an expert on cooking on an offset smoker, but there's just a few basic rules that I know that I try to follow by, and that's having a hot bed of coals before you put your logs on and getting a nice clean smoke, which is what we're getting here, right? You can kind of faintly see it coming out the stack, but it's not billowing, it's not that thick, heavy smoke, so this is perfect for cooking. Let's open this guy up. I'm gonna put it towards this side of the fire, just directly on the grates. And then the ones with the sweet barbecue rub right here. Slide that guy back in. And that is it. Now, when it comes to temperature control on the offsets, right now it's at about 275. I'm going to come back and check on this every 25 to 30 minutes. And if I see the temperature dipping, I'm going to add another log and just kind of continue on until the chicken is done and cooked. It's been about 20-25 minutes, and here, check this out. You can see the 2 logs that I had in there are completely burnt off. We have this beautiful bed of coals. So I'm going to add a fresh log right on top. That's going to ignite, create more smoke. Look at it, it's already starting to burn here. If you want to come over, take a look. See, so just as soon as I put that log in there, it's already catching on fire, which is great. So I'm going to close this most of the way. This is going to continue to allow airflow to go in, continue smoking our chicken. It's sitting at right around 260, so we're in really good shape. While that chicken is smoking, or I guess while we're doing anything else, while stuff is cooking, this is what we do to keep Jax busy. Look at him. Look at his paw. He's ready to go. You ready, buddy? You ready? Go. Go. He just chases the hose back and forth. He can go like this all day. All day. Look at him go. Back to the chicken. It's been on for a little over an hour. So let's take a look and check the internal temperatures. Check this guy out. Beautiful color on the outside. The skin is getting crispy, still plenty juicy. So let's check the internal temperature. Now, since this is all dark meat, it's the drumstick and the thigh. You want to go above the 165, right in the thickest part. 180, 185. This is looking really good. This chicken is done. This thing is ready to go, but before I pull it off, I'm going to move it towards the center of my smoker. I'm going to move all these chicken thighs or these chicken leg quarters, and I'm just going to cook it for about 5 more minutes. This is going to help crisp up the skin a little bit more since it's going to be closer to the firebox, and then our chicken will be good to go. All right, now our chicken should be ready. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah. That is a beautiful looking chicken leg quarter. Let's pull these guys off. Now they still need to rest for a good 10-15 minutes. That'll stop the cooking process, allow all these juices to redistribute, and it's just gonna make for a tastier bite. So don't rush trying to eat these right away. Let them rest, let them cool down. Let me show you, you can see the difference. So these 2 had the sweet barbecue seasoning, and then these 3 had the salt, pepper, and garlic. So a little different look to them, but they look absolutely amazing. All right, chicken has rested, and now we can finally try these out. So I'm gonna separate the drumstick from the thigh. Look how pretty that is. That is a nice looking piece of chicken. It's got these, oh man, super juicy, beautiful. You can see a little smoke ring in this thigh, but look how juicy these are. Again, smoking to about 185 internal. That's still going to be super juicy. Not only was it brining, but it's a little bit more fatty than the chicken breast. Plus, you get a much better texture when you take these to a higher temperature. So anyways, let's try the drumstick here first. Oh, wow. That is so good. Super nice and mild smoky flavor. As you can see, that skin is nice and bite through. You taste a little hint of the tea, some of that lemon, the garlic, I mean the salt and pepper on the outside. This is a really good piece of chicken. Next, let's try the one with the barbecue seasoning. And we'll see how this guy is. And see, cutting these is super easy. You just separate right between the joints. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Wow, got a little squirt in my nose. Definitely a little bit more sweet from that granulated honey in the seasoning. Still that nice mild smoky flavor. Still get those hints of the tea, the lemon. This one is really good. I think I prefer the one with the honey barbecue seasoning. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If there's something you guys want to see me cook on that here offset, just let me know in a comment. It's really fun cooking on that thing, and I hope to use it a little bit more this summer. But if you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and I will see you guys next time. Yeah, let's see if you like it. Ooh. Oh yeah, he definitely likes it. Are you ready for more? All right, let me get you another little piece here. Oh, that's good chicken, right, buddy? Yeah, it is.